Hello, everybody, and welcome to what could potentially be the final ACC Monday race, the conclusion of the Mini British GT Championship for 2026 is not only the finale for the series, but the finale for ACC Mondays as well. It is my honor to be with you here today with Jack Mays, Ash Bibby. I'm Jesse Lee, and we have 60 minutes of racing left in the championship. Joe Dauber is your champion elect, but everything rather besides is up in the air for both classes. Jack Mays, welcome in to a slightly somber but still festive attitude here at Brands Hatch in the UK. I couldn't think of a better race or a better send-off to this series.
Absolutely, Jesse. Welcome in, everybody. Bittersweet could not be a more apt word, I think, for what we have tonight. It's going to be an absolutely stellar race, as it always is, but everything's sort of coming to a head. I've only been with ACC for about a year when I joined the broadcasting team, Jesse. I know for you it's been a few more than that, and for the vast majority of all of our drivers on track, the same deal as well, but it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be fantastic. GT3 qualifying, as you can see on your screen, is well and truly underway. Nico Kumpu is on provisional pole position. Cal Barrington Jr. just jumped up to P2. Yusuf Martin in third. McKenna McConnell in fourth. And Jordan Daly, well, everybody's sort of jumping around now. Svenchek just jumped up to P2, Jesse Lee, but one glaring omission to the qualifying proceedings, of course, is Joe Dauber doing the classic Dauber, starting from the back of the grid. After all, the championship is already his, so why not, as all our drivers are going to do here tonight, just go out and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, you love to see Joe Dauber do things like that. Wouldn't be the first time Joe has done something of that nature and sort of a victory lap. We've even had drivers do that and still win the race. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that one. Of course, this season has had a little bit of everything format-wise. 2 30-minute races, 90-minute races, and of course the standard 60-minute sprint. Tonight for the finale, it is the standard 60-minute sprint. Everyone will have a pit stop at some point. And here we go for a lap, maybe the final one, around Brands Hatch, a track that almost needs no introduction. Turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend into Druids here, a famous turn all of those years in Formula One and touring car racing as we come down Graham Hill into Graham Hill Bend, down the Cooper, straight into Surtees. This is a place on the racetrack, Jack, where it's so easy to get it wrong. It's uphill, it's blind, it's off camber, and you're all searching for the exit as you go down the straight into Pilgrim's Drop. Take it away, Jack.
Absolutely. Pilgrim's Drop, the right-hander. It's an important bit of circuit. Everything sort of sets you up for the next corner. There's a gorgeous amount of flow to this circuit. Westfield Bend now rushing slightly onto the grass is Ted Edwards. Dingledell and Dingledell Corner, which I did not realize were the names until today. It might be my favorite names of a corner in the world. Sterling's, the 90 lefts that you can take so quick. It's downhill, it's on camber, it's a beautiful, gorgeous corner. Clearways is the straight that takes you to the final corner. The Race Ventura Mustang going to see what they can do in qualifying. Ted Edwards is 9th currently, and I think he's going to stay right there. Mustang GT3 last to cross the line in qualifying, which means, of course, there are the GT4s coming out onto the circuit. And interestingly, Andy Boardman disqualified from qualifying already along with Simon Flore. Not sure why at the moment, Jesse, but that, of course, Andy's fighting for the championship here. So starting from the back of the grid is it's going to make this one tricky already.
Yeah, that's less than ideal. I would say suboptimal, as a race engineer might say. Quite curious what that would have been lining up too soon. We've seen that a few times this year, get drivers out of sorts and disqualified. You'd suspect Boardman wouldn't or would have known that and wouldn't have made that mistake. There's also a possibility that it was purposeful, that Boardman wanted to start at the very back of the field. I don't know why they would want to do that, but could have just been a mental lapse, a momentary mistake, lining up too soon, going out with the wrong group. These are all reasons that could get you disqualified. Also, driving backwards in pit lane. We don't really see that much, but back in the earlier days, some 4 or 5 years ago, we saw that ever so often. A car would back up down pit lane, and you get disqualified for that. But a couple of other cars are also being disqualified. Verstappen has been disqualified as well after the fact. Floor, along with Boardman, the three cars that will start at the back of the field regardless. So very interesting situation we have here at the beginning of the GT4 qualifying. One other thing, Jack, I want to press on just in case we see it. I don't want anyone to be shocked. We are at Brands Hatch. We do have GT4s. And I don't know, Jack, if you've ever seen this here in ACC, but this track has a weird little, I call it a glitch, I guess, off the final corner, Clark curve. Some GT4s, when they hit the curb, can flip over as they enter the Brabham Straight.
Oh, I can't say I've ever seen that. I don't necessarily want to, but I also kind of do. Raphael Huel, already I've seen on his roof in Barcelona, he was messing around in practice and said, hey, do you want to see something cool? I said, yeah, sure. And he proceeded to flip his car in the penultimate corner at Barcelona. Maybe if he's listening, or anybody's listening, if you want to do it, to show me, because I haven't seen it, and it might be my last opportunity, please, by all means, give it a go. Callum Kerrigan's getting ready to cross the line, perhaps a benchmark time, but it is a 1:32.8 for the GT4s at the moment. The little Ginetta a bit outgunned last week at Paul Ricard. Fortunately, not as many long straights here, a lot more corners, which is where that thing thrives. It's that car's home race, or one of the many home races, as this is the Mini British GT, and that is a British racing manufacturer. Kevin Boss is going to come across the line in the wheelie slow AMG, just slightly off the time that Kerrigan set, but they are going to get quicker, Jesse. Everybody ready to do their absolute best. Qualifying is not the end-all, be-all, but it is worth a heck of a lot on a track where overtaking isn't too easy and the race isn't too long.
Yeah, passing here at Brands Hatch absolutely comes at a premium, and it's so easy to invalidate your laps by running wide around here, especially in the middle sector through Hawthorne's Westfield and Sheen. So you got to be very careful about that as well. Well, we took a lap around Brands Hatch. Let's explain where we are. West Kingston, Kent in England. This track opened in 1950, which is around the time Ash Bibby was born. It's 3.9 kilometers, 2.4 miles, and only about 9 listed turns. Now, the Indy circuit has 6 turns, and I'm pretty sure I can count a higher than 9. And I would argue there's more than 9 turns here at Brands Hatch, but I'm not the officials. The official listing for 9 corners. Everybody fighting for the top spot. Redford was up there momentarily. Raphael Huel goes provisional pole at a 37.57 with about half of their qualifying left to go.
Absolutely. Times are dropping. Everybody's getting comfortable. Pressures are coming up. Those magic numbers for pressures, it is the end-all, be-all in ACC. Your temperature matters a bit, but as long as your pressure's in that magic window, you will probably be going well. Everybody up to it now. Everybody getting comfortable, figuring out where exactly they want to be on the circuit. Not as many cars tonight as we've seen in previous races, but still a very healthy group of cars. The only one that Mark Schaefer's still sitting in pit lane. The other 3, of course, are disqualified, but we've known Schaefer to be a qualifier. So maybe a last to first challenge attempt in GT4 as well. Or, well, Boardman kind of has that. Damian Lowe, bit deep into turn 1, but I think he was anticipating going back into pit lane. Maybe a fresh set of fuel, maybe a fresh set of tires, Jesse, to go out and do
Mm.
one more lap, but it's I, I can't sort of get over the sort of air of this race right now, because normally I feel like we're way more upbeat, we're way more excited. It's just it's sad. It's pretty sad.
Well, it is, but it's also a celebration of 6+ years. I've been doing this for as long as RCI has existed. The Monday Champ, we've had all sorts of races here in ACC, uh, all sorts of different championship configurations, and it just feels right in a way. Is it sad? Yes, but it's also a celebration of a culmination of everything that Monday Champ has been. And right off rip, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the drivers that participated in this season, that have participated at all here a Monday Champ. Special shout out to the Monday gang as well. Still high numbers here in both classes for the finale. It goes to show that everyone's out here looking to represent. Speaking of the drivers, a couple have chimed in from the chat. Mike Redford says that given the championship position, they are just out there to have fun. P3 is pretty much locked for them in their class. Joe Dauber chiming in on the disqualifications, Jack. You'll find this interesting. uh, Joe Dauber reckons we're right that Andy Boardman, that is, was queuing too early, and that's why he was disqualified. The other two, he's guessing it was 107% rule. They were put to the back for presumably safety reasons.
Yeah, pretty much. I think either 107% rule, or perhaps it was a matter of staying out a little bit too long in qualifying as well. But I think Joe Dauber's direct on the money, as he's pretty much a spectator as we are, since he said, well, we're not going to do qualifying today, so we're just going to relax and get ready for the race. He's got as great a view as we could possibly have. So I think he's almost on the money. Here comes Anton Klimov. He's on a good lap. He might be vying for pole. He's in second overall right now, or second in GT4 rather. Raphael Huell finished their qualifying. Their lap is absolutely stunning. Nobody really getting that close to put 0.7 of a second on a short circuit, Jesse Lee. No small feat for the man who currently leads this championship. Redford as well, putting in a very great performance. I just feel like, Mike Redford, as with so many of these drivers, a very storied name in the halls of RCI Mondays. Many championships to their name, but has driven, I think, exceptionally well this time around. And as he said, hoping to have a little bit of fun, but what I imagine as well is hoping to put in one final good result to end it off.
Yeah, Mike Redford, along with some of the other drivers in the field, have been here pretty much as long as I have, since the very beginning. Raced in a bunch of different series, has Mike Redford. Didn't really seem to matter what day it was, as long as they were available, you'd find them on the racetracks here at ACC, whether that was a night owl, a Monday Champ, or otherwise. A couple of other cars coming to grab one more qualifying lap. As long as you start your lap before the timer hits 0, you get to finish that lap. Unlike in other sims, qualifying session isn't over until everyone has finished their final lap, or of course abandoned it. So now everybody is on their final lap. Kevin Boss just starting one of the last cars that will get qualifying rights here. Mike Redford's already through with quali for GT4. Will go no further. Got really close. 5/1000ths difference between starting second and third right now.
Absolutely super quick. Nothing much to it. And the few drivers that are on their laps still, Tessa Thurbley, one of them who's quite up on their time, has a bit of ways to go to at least gain a position, but certainly looking for a time improvement. Everybody else sort of maybe not finding it quite as well in this lap. So we'll see. The Alpine sort of, it's been a little bit of a dark horse, I feel like, in this championship. It's either been right up dominating the field, or it's just sort of been there. I don't know what it's going to be tonight. Maybe some surprises to see. Maybe a catastrophic incident at turn 1 will flip this race on its head. I'm not saying I want that, but it could happen. We've seen it already. Tessa Thurbly is going to improve on their time, but not their overall position. The wheelie slow machine looking to best their previous lap time. I don't think it's going to be an improvement for Kevin Boss, but it will be a valiant effort. 5th in qualifying. Gianni Lenz, I think, the same, and that's going to be some repairing. Good news, this is a video game, and that happens instantaneously, Kevin. That was very foolish. Qualifying results for the finale of Mini British GT. Nico Kumpu taking pole position in the Ferrari 488. Jordan Daly, who's just really, well, he's found his way back again, and he's about to have to turn around and go elsewhere, starting on the front row. Juraj Svenček in 3rd. Cal Barrington Jr., after switching out of the Porsche, seeming to do pretty well in the Ferrari as well. Marco Badowski in 5th. And we have Martin 6th, McConnell 7th, Andrzej Badek in 8th, Ted Edwards in 9th, Hugo Gomez in 10th, Will Stevenson 11th, and the Jag probably looking for one final top 10 here tonight. Emma Plata in 12th, Aaron Jackson 13th, Peter Varga 14th, Wojtek Rybecki in 15th, and Joe Dauber starting at the back of the grid for GT3. Couple of disqualifications as well. Raphael Huell taking pole, hoping to convert that to a win here tonight. Anton Klimov in 2nd, Mike Redford 3rd, Callum Kerrigan in 4th, Kevin Boss in 5th, Gianni Lenz 6th, Damian Lowe in 7th position, Tessa Thurbly in 8th, Martin Schaefer in 9th, and Andy Boardman from the back of the grid after his disqualification here tonight. Jesse Lee, points still on offer. Championships not quite wrapped up in GT4. Let us know how we're looking for the championship.
Here we have it, the championship coming into the decider final round. Joe Dauber is your champion-elect in GT3. Martin Lawrence, P2, but I don't see them out there today. Nico Kumpu in 3rd would take over that spot. And, of course, Marco Badowski, Badek, all fighting for those podium spots. Behind them and outside of the top 5, Tom Shipston, McKenna McConnell, Theobald Roscom, Jordan Daly, and Aaron Jackson all have a legitimate shot at 6th place, depending on how the race were to go tonight. Looking at GT4, a little bit closer. Raphael Huell has a healthy gap over Andy Boardman. Mike Redford on an island, sort of in 3rd. Miso Stubna is in 4th, but I didn't see the Camaro out there either. Sebastian Picciano rounds out the top 5 and starts a massive brawl for what could be 5th place between themselves. Tom Winch, Callum Kerrigan, Anton Klimov, those drivers specifically. Kevin Boss with an outside chance, and Nikolai Polyakov rounds out your top 10. Championship races all but decided, but every other position very much looking like it is up for grabs. 3 minutes until the jacks drop for the final time here in the Mini British GT Championship. Right now, I'd like to invite everyone out there watching, and even if you're watching this back on VOD, drop your favorite Monday ACC moment here at RCI in the chat. Drop it in the comments of the VOD. I'd love to read them of what your favorite moment for the past 6+ years has been. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to think about what mine could possibly be out of the plethora of moments that there have been. Jack, one final grid walk as we look at the who's who of Mini British GT.
Absolutely. The patented baby drone walk for the final time this championship. A gorgeous grid of gorgeous GT3 and GT4 machinery. It's a who's who, as it's been all season long. Good names, great liveries, and great drivers who are inside of those race cars. A currently absent grid spot. I believe that would have been Will Stevenson in the Jag back there. Oh, no, he's just behind. He's actually behind Ted Edwards. So I'm not sure who was occupying that grid spot, but they are not here. Hopefully they're able to reconnect and maybe start from that spot, or perhaps from the back of the grid. But favorite, I feel like I've already asked Jesse, but I don't know. We're at the final moments. Favorite livery of the season? GT3 or GT4.
It's hard to pick, and I'm not going to pick just one. I'm going to pick a couple of the classics. I'm going to pick the SJ&H livery that they've evolved over the past 6 years. The names changed several times as well. The Kaiju liveries are absolutely classic. We've got the Mike Redford car, which proudly displays all of his victories and podiums on the roof. His LMU car is going to have an additional one after the crazy comeback that he had on Saturday. And we can't forget the Callum Kerrigan cars, iconic, and also the wheelie slow machines, and just all of these liveries that we have. CLR is another car that comes to mind as well. Missing a couple. Les Stevenson is another one that comes to mind. Les likes to put his face on the cars. That's very classic in a completely different way. Everyone on the grid, though, dressed up for the final 60 minutes. So my question to you is, Jack, not what your favorite livery is, what do you think the mood and the temperature is of this field? Are they going to give each other extra space or less space? Because keep in mind, there is one final chance of bragging rights here on ACC Mondays. Somebody, two people are going to get to say, I won the last ACC Monday race.
Yeah, I think outside of those who are, I'd say Raphael Huell is going to probably take it the easiest of anybody on the grid. I think everybody else is going to go out there and they're going to send it. They're going to send it at each other. They're going to send it around each other. And there's probably going to be some moments this race to cap it all off, and everybody wants their final moment in the spotlight. I don't think it's going to become a demolition derby by any means, because in the worst conditions, these drivers can pull off some of the greatest racing you'll see. So I think there's going to be a bit of that. But no, I think it's going to be elbows out, no holds barred, good old-fashioned paint trading racing here tonight. And I will say the missing driver on the grid was Hugo Gomez. We saw him in the BMW at the very back. That is who, well, disappeared, reappeared. So he is here. We are still 28 cars strong before lap 1, but one final formation. And I still get this sort of itch. I'm still used to Le Mans Ultimate whenever cars phase into each other.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
I do a little bit of it too. I'm like, don't do that. Oh, so all we to remember next time, next Monday, don't do that, because it will have a slightly different impact.
Yes, indeed. Mondays aren't really going anywhere. They're just changing simulator. So Monday Champ will still go on throughout 2026, just in a different sim. For the time being, this is the last scheduled ACC championship here in RCI. Of course, right now, the ongoing LMP2 LMU championship on Thursdays. And at the end of the month, we invite you all, if you're still itching for more ACC action and want to take part in an enduro, the 3 hours of Nürburgring on ACC, the end of the month, July 25th. We would love to have you pick your favorite car in your favorite class. It's dealer's choice. We would love to have you there. Go to SimGrid and check out the signups for that. Jack, you've been so instrumental in keeping Mondays going. I can think of no better honor than handing it over to you to start the final race.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. It's just been so wonderful. I started here in RCI on ACC like most, and fortunately I get to be the one that calls the final green flag of the season. The Mini British GT in Route 6 at Brands Hatch is underway for the final time. It's Nico Kopu off, and immediately Juraj Svenček pushing Daly off the racetrack in the Bentley. Disaster already for a few drama instantaneously in this race. Both of the field, though, finding their way through just about. Juraj, fortunately, keeping it back onto the circuit and getting in as comfortable way in the back of shot. The McLaren 720S, I believe that might have been Roman Verstappen who was rounded. A bit of bumping between the GT4s here. Hugo Gomez trying to find his way through immediately, tripping over each other. This is a small circuit. This isn't a very wide one, and for two separate classes, the Viper control Jesse Lee, it's already popping off.
That was a pretty big crash exiting Druids right there. A couple of cars got pit maneuvered and turned around. The 88, I believe, has gotten going, but we're going to go back and take a look at a replay. This is after the fact, actually. This is 3 wide after that. Very scary moment as the BMW making their way through the GT4s after contact, or no, after disconnecting on the grid, rather. They'll continue on, but everybody able to make it away from the accident scene. One of the Maseratis loses it, gets into the wall. This might be the replay we're looking for. Oh yes, one of the McLarens just losing it and collecting a couple of other cars. Everybody else scatters. Jonas Lins, they unfortunately involved in that one.
Already a mixed bag of starts from a lot of drivers, but up at the front still the same in each class. It's Nico Kumpu and Raphael Huel leading both. A bit of a mixture. Everybody's still sort of fighting their way around. Another early race replay. This is Jordan Daly. That's Peter Varga just ahead. I think they're going to get a little bit of door-to-door. That's Wojciech Rybecki in the CLR car. It keeps touching, and it just ends up into the wall just slightly, and that Mercedes is absolutely just shut to pieces. There's Boardman on Boss, a little bit running out of room. Here comes the McLaren sweeping by just about. Andy Boardman from the back of the grid saying, I do not have time to waste, and somehow is already on the back of Raphael Huel as it's Kerrigan and Redford who go into each other, both drivers trying to keep it together. Jesse, I said that they would be elbows out, but I think at this point it's a little bit too much.
Well, that's what you get at Brands Hatch. It's a touring car racetrack, most prominently, I would say, in the modern era, and it's put on some fantastic touring car races. These drivers are acting like touring car racers, and that's what you do. You get carved up on a racetrack like this. The 127 off into the dirt. Wojciech Rybecki sedentary, not moving. That car, that might be a retirement as old friends, pals, and allies go at it here down the pit straight. We'll see how Wojciech Rybecki got into this position to begin with. Contact with Hugo Gomez once, twice, maybe a third time. That doesn't even tell us the full story.
Doesn't, but something clearly happening at the very end of that lap. Kevin Boss facing the wrong direction coming out of Druids. He's finding his way back underway. Damian Lowe now picking up the pieces of that. I think it might have been Kerrigan and Boss coming together. I think this will be the answer to the question, and I do think it's Ginetta into the back of the Mercedes AMG. Two friends coming together immediately on the track. Everybody just trying to get their feet under him, Jesse. I mean, first 4 minutes of the race, and it's pretty much been a dice roll. If you're on this racetrack, maybe you'll live, maybe you won't, maybe you'll end up in a wall, but it's gone extremely well for a select few. Aaron Jackson qualified, I think, 13th maybe, so already up 5 positions. There's Will Stevenson in the background fighting with Joe Dauber and Emo Plata in the Lamborghini. I didn't actually recognize Joe Dauber at first because it's such a colorful car, and he usually is in something a bit darker, so he's trying to find his way through. Still too wide, these two going into Druids. Will Stevenson will have the inside for this next corner, so I think he's going to hold off the Lamborghini. Maybe a switchback, though, running a bit wide into the grass, but not losing too much momentum. The Jag still making itself as wide as it needs to be. Jordan Daly's joined the fight. Ted Edwards just behind. It's going to be an absolute stormer, and we're only 5 minutes in.
Yeah, just looking at Jordan Daly's AMG, he's one of the drivers that got taken off into turn number 1 off Paddock Hill Bend, and you can see that front of that AMG is damaged. Some aero damage there. It's not going to matter right here as he opportunistically gains a position on Emo Plata, who may or may not have been assisted off of the racetrack right there. But Jordan Daly in the just Gamer's car. We heard from our broadcaster, Ash Bibby, that Jordan Daly was not happy with that car as we're 3 wide behind the welcome to Brands Hatch, ladies and gentlemen. Close quarters action here as Andy Boardman continues after that moment. Mike Redford continues to lead in that class up the road, but could have been a very scary moment indeed, as Boardman still continuing with Raphael Huell for that second spot. It's been a good getaway for some of the drivers in GT3 as well, but none really better than McKenna McConnell, who drove really good in practice. Qualifying wasn't there, but somehow miraculously has yet again found their way very quickly up the order. This is shades of what we saw at Snetterton mid-season. Second place for the race Ventura number 22 and McKenna McConnell. Only second to Nico Kumpu, setting the pace out front.
I think it's a little bit of 4th of July magic, dare I say. A little bit of freedom juice really gets a driver going. McKenna McConnell off to an absolute storm of a start, but this has pretty much been best case scenario for Andy Boardman. He gets a disqualification. He has to start at the very back of the grid. There's a massive opening melee, and here he is now parked in front of his championship rival, Raphael Huell. Of course, I believe it is that Andy Boardman needs to win this race, and Huell needs to drop down to 5th. And if Boardman puts a McLaren between himself and the Porsche Cayman, he might be one step closer to that, though. There's Verstappen in the GT3 sort of trying to make their way through, doing a bit of a better job than some other McLarens did at the beginning. That's a bit of a late dive, a bit of a late maneuver, and a bit of a squirrel for Mike Redford. Here's that moment that might be coming good for Andy Boardman. It's going to be a drag race down towards the final corner, and Boardman tries with the switchback. There's just not quite enough road, and now he's immediately under pressure from Raphael Huell, the McLaren slow out of the corner. So I think it's going to cause things to stack up just a little bit, but into turn 1, Boardman's going to hold it just about. Slight drift from the pair on the exit.
This is very scary for Mike Redford. Steam's going to be coming out of his ears because he wants he wants Verstappen to just go. But Verstappen's pace is not quite there. And off of every corner look, the GT4 is pulling back up on the GT3 of Verstappen, and that is not what Redford wants to see. He's gone off of the racetrack, but it doesn't matter. Here comes Boardman. Here comes Andy Boardman for Grease Weasel, going for the lead down Pilgrim's Drop.
He might be able to have this if he can hang it around the outside. The McLaren, though, is so good in a straight line. It might be another attempt at a switchback. Andy Boardman, a bit of a tighter line, a bit of a better exit. Here comes Raphael Huell on the exit, and there's the McLaren, hopefully not getting in the way, and around the outside might go Raphael Huell, and I think Verstappen's just going to have to wait and be a bit patient here, but isn't giving them a whole lot of room to brawl, because a brawl it absolutely is. Raphael Huell wide into the grass on the road out of Dingle Dell corner, and all of them drifting wildly. You'd think it's for GT4.
How is Mike Redford in the lead still after all of that?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is the poise of a driver who's just here for fun, as he said. No, I think the fun is out the window. He's here and he's ready to try to win this thing.
Well, he's in the front, and he goes, well, if I'm in front, I might as well go ahead and just win the final race. Well, wouldn't that be a great sticker to put on your future cars? Of course, Verstappen trying to make their way through here, but just looks like that GT3 McLaren is just slower off of the corners versus the GT4s. You see it there again. Boardman nearly into the back of them there, flashing the lights furiously now is Andy Boardman, saying, look, you need to be able to just disappear up the road. You're in a faster car, for goodness sake. Hopefully this time is the ticket for Verstappen going around. Now Mike Redford's hoping that Verstappen has the pace. A flash of the lights there saying, please disappear off into the yonder, and he does for the time being. Redford still leads, Boardman leads Huell. Those drivers, after all of that chaos, end up in the same configuration that they were prior to all of that kicking off.
That's unbelievable. I don't know how they managed to do that well, but it's sort of gone right in the right way. The battle, though, for second, McKenna McConnell leads a group of cars, Marco Badowski and Cal Barrington Jr. I would say two modern race cars and one sort of old girl in the background, being the SJ&H Ferrari 488. See that close quarters is Jesse, you said it the best. It is the most apt descriptor of this whole race. Here's Kevin Boss, a little bit of a touch.
Oh my goodness!
From the back of McKenna McConnell, trying to get out of the way. That comes off camera. You're sort of being pushed up the hill. You can only rotate the car as well as you can, especially when you have a bunch of nipping GT3s at the heel. Henry the Hoover versus Celsa Thurley in the Alpine. Here comes the second to fourth fight. They're just trying to carve their way through, and really well carved by McKenna McConnell. That's actually opened up a tiny bit greater of a gap than maybe we were expecting. Everybody, it took them a second to sort of adjust, get ready, but I must say they're all just doing an absolutely stellar job at this point. There's Jesse Lee, the fastest hand in the West. Swife, McKenna McConnell.
Yeah, McKenna's doing a great job right here, keeping Nico Kumpu as close as possible. That gap was immediately a 1.8, 1.9 second lead, but beyond that, it hasn't really ballooned beyond that too much. And this is scary. McKenna McConnell is going to get into Verstappen, and that's going to take out Barrington Jr., and that's an unfortunate side effect. Verstappen just did not give room adhering to the blue flags. McConnell went to the inside to make the pass and was just not afforded room, rather unfortunately. And Barrington Jr. is the one who pays the ultimate price, getting into the wall. I was just going to talk about Mike Honcho sneaking into the picture for P2. And now we're left to sit here and wonder how much damage is done to the front of that Ferrari.
Yeah, it was sort of kind of a glancing blow, maybe sort of, but it's still a big hit. Fortunately, didn't lose too much time off of it, but steering looks about normal. That is very much straight and narrow, so no big steering damage. Hopefully, no suspension damage. Could just be a little bit of aerodynamics on the front bumper, which around this circuit doesn't make too big of a difference by the nature of this circuit. There's nothing terribly high speed that you'd need all your bits for to contend with, but it is going to affect his drivability. It is going to affect the look of the race. Andy Boardman went for a move on Mike Redford into Drew, ran it wide, and here comes Raphael Huell sweeping through. That was unbelievable work from Raphael Huell. He said, whoops, yeah, thank you, I will take that very much, sir. Served up on a silver platter. Champion to be, Raphael Huell takes the lead of the race in about the most stylish way you can hope for.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible work from Raphael Huell. A heads-up play, some more elbows out, touring car action up in Druids, and opportunistic there from Huell to put the number 21 Porsche into the lead of that category. Absolutely excellent stuff. Go ahead and put Mike Redford down the third. Boardman still in second place, but now is chasing an all too different but yet still familiar foe in Raphael Huell. Can the Grease Weasel car make a pass on the number 21? We will find out. Here come the GT3 leaders. Remember, they were all tucked up together a lap or so ago, but they have sort of expanded ever so slightly after the earlier drama. It is still Kumpu leads McConnell, Badowski, and Barrington Jr. Baddock rounds out your top five, and don't think we forgot about the Kaiju driver, Aaron Jackson in Godzilla, the GTR. A nice sixth place, but of course, everything tentative right now. Everyone in the field has a pit stop to give. The pit cycle not started, and the pits aren't indeed even open yet.
Yeah, they'll be open in about 4.5 minutes. It'll be a 20-minute pit window. You got to get in, you got to get out pretty quickly. Mandatory tire change, mandatory at least 1 liter of fuel. That Mercedes AMG GT3, a little bit loose, and normally I'd be like, oh, that setup must be kind of crazy. No, I think that car's been bashed and bruised to the point of little recognition. Small wonder that it's still ripping up the circuit, making up time and making up positions. Is the Just Gamers driven by Jordan Daly. He's, you know, you start on the front row, you're feeling good, you're feeling happy. Oh, got a little bumped off at the start, dropped a few positions. Okay, that's all right. Okay, I'm in the wall. This is getting annoying. He's still sticking with it. He's Daly. He's got grit, that boy.
Well, we haven't seen much of it this season in terms of drive-through penalties for off-track excursions, but I dare say if we're ever going to have a slew of them, it's going to be at Brands Hatch. Going wide here a lot of the time gets you a drive-through or gets you a track limit warning, and on the 4th time of getting a track limit warning, you get a drive-through penalty for your troubles. So I think it's very possible that you're going to see that. Look at that Ferrari drift through the corner. Was that Joe Dauber just drifting through the corner? It was the Rebound Racing driver. Oh my goodness.
We've seen a couple of those so far. That might challenge Juraj Svenček's drift last week. I think we need a RCI Formula Drifting Championship, or at least a Formula Drift Award. There might be a replay of that drift. Was it a bit assisted? It was assisted. The entry was caused by Aaron Jackson, but Joe Dauber flips on a bit of opposite lock and absolutely nails it with style.
All right, Ash, baby, one more time from in Joe Dauber's car. If we could. Because I've gotta see what this looks like. Oh my gosh, just full left lock and a dab of the brake and a pump of the throttle, all in a day's work for the Rebound driver in the 999 Ferrari. I couldn't have caught that. I know very few people that could have caught that, but he did. One more time for the culture.
Bam.
It looks simple. I know somebody's watching at home like, who cares? It wasn't that impressive. Go try and do that. That was
GT3s aren't built for that.
Yeah, damn impressive. That was really cool.
This time, though, it took him 1 lap. He actually got by Aaron Jackson while we were watching him drift. I'd like to imagine he did it the same way last time, except he kept it ahead. He took it a little bit sideways. As Emil Plata maybe in a spot of bother.
Oh, Daly!
There's a Jordan Daly parked on the exit of the corner, and it's a bit blind coming down the hill, and it's enough of a touch to spin the car around. Here's how Jordan Daly got here. A bit of a sort of wacky self-spin. I don't think maybe Juraj Svenček gave him a little bit of a tap, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was just in a bit of dirty air and with a little bit of a damaged car. Daly went around, and that caused Emil Plata to meet into our good old friend Barry R. Just ahead, Gomez and Ted Edwards side by side getting up the hill. It's the Mustang. Oh, briefly off the road there was Ted Edwards.
I think they may have come together here.
Yeah,
let's see. Going through Surtees, there's a bump there, and yep, there might be a subsequent bump because that wasn't the end of it, and it was right there where the straight kinks before Pilgrim's drop, and it de-wedged the Ford Mustang, and that was all she wrote. It wasn't a big touch, didn't need to be right at that particular spot of the racetrack.
It's like, to me, it looks like a little bit of maybe frustration, one touch too many, and that said, all right, you'll bump me, I'll bump you back, and unfortunately, it ended a bit poorly. Really great timing for Jordan Daly and Ted Edwards, though. You just heard the race director say pit window is open. 5 seconds later, they're running it down pit lane. They're going to get full service, full repair, whatever needs to be done for those two, and then they can hoon it till the end. A couple of cars also joining him, Emil Plata in pit lane as well. Not terribly surprising. about that, but let's talk about the Jag. Let's talk about the Jag for an hour. But the Jag is just doing an excellent job. Excuse me. His goal for the season was a top 10. He's done it already. I believe his best finish was 8th, perhaps in round 2 or round 3. And he's in 8th now. I think he's going to better his result, his personal record. Honestly, probably just a finishing record for the Emil Frey Jaguar GT3 in general. Just look at him go. Right on the back of Yusuf Martin, sniffing away, jagging up the place.
Yeah, he really is. Wherever Will Stevenson arrives, he is indeed going to arrive in style. And he's in Kent, which is a great place to be if you have a Jaguar. So he's going to try and get a couple of more positions before the day is over. Racing Martin here for 7th place. Had a look, had a sniff, as you'd say, and a slide exiting Paddock Hill, because that's what you do when you drive a Jag. He's been torturing the tires off of this Jaguar all season long, and he's still doing it today. One of the oldest cars in ACC, inside the top 10, threatening the top 7, looking pretty good. Not missing anything up front. It's Nico Kumpu who leads McConnell, and Barrington Jr. has taken over 3rd place. This behind them, Jackson and Martin. A bit of contact there, hip and shoulder check, losing several positions. And that is why Stevenson is fighting for 7th place, because Jackson has been deposed from the top 6 positions. Martin takes over that 7th place spot. Aaron Jackson will not take that particularly happily. Aaron Jackson not really known for being anything other than level-headed, but I keep seeing him do it, Jack, running off the racetrack on some of these corners. It makes me worry about those track limits.
Absolutely. I'm trying to remember if we've actually seen a drive-through penalty for track limits. We almost certainly have, but it's been almost less than you expect. I think tonight it might change it up just a little bit. Aaron Jackson pulling into pit lane now. Juraj Svenček doing it as well. Mike Redford as well. First of the GT4s, I do believe, has now pitted in as Blata kind of stepping out of the way there. I do believe he might be a lap down, so doing the right thing at the right time, because of course they had pitted in such a small circuit that a little bit of fuel, a little bit of tires, and a little bit of damage means, well, you are immediately a lap down. That will come back good once the pits fully cycle through. Anton Klimov, the Maserati merchant of the season, chasing down Callum Kerrigan in the Ginetta. One final reminder about that Maserati, because I think it's fascinating. A, that it exists, and B, that it has no electronic aids at all, and also one of the best sounds on the racetrack. It is a sort of, I could almost describe a sloppy sounding transmission, not nearly as fast as you'd think in a dual clutch transmission gearbox. In fact, it might be a single clutch transmission, but it sounds great. It looks great. No TC, no ABS, just talent. And because it's a Maserati, a little bit of swag to keep that thing on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I remember watching this car, I think, race around the Nürburgring back in the day. And I remember them telling the story on Radio Le Mans, Radio Show Limited, whatever it was called at the time. And I do recall thinking at the time, before ACC existed, I thought, is that wise to have a modern race car like that? But, you know, it's found its own in ACC, and I've seen people do incredible things with these Maseratis. In fact, while we're talking about some of our favorite moments in ACC history, we watched a Maserati win overall in ACC in an RCI race around Mount Panorama. Just absolutely incredible, unlikely scenes, but it happened some years ago, 2022, 2023, somewhere in there. Maserati won overall in a race that we did. I think it might have actually even been an endurance race, and that's the SJ&H car off the road in Paddock Hill.
Yeah, Mike Concho coming out of pit lane, just sort of stationary. He's actually moving really slowly See him on the track map on the right side of our screen. Is it a puncture? Could it be? I think because he's really not getting up to any amount of speed at all. And he's parked
again,
just outside of Druids. Yep, something is wrong there. It could be. I do know that they do drive in VR. Could have been an issue with the headset. Could have been a different technical issue as well. But maybe he's going to try to fix it. Maybe he's going to try to finish this race. We'll see. We'll have updates about that when we're able. A little bit of a tickle on the back end from Godzilla to the Maserati.
Just two dinosaurs, you know, prehistoric race cars out there from the Jurassic period. As far as a bump goes, that's one that you kind of let go. You know, it's a faster car. It's just a slight misjudgment. We've seen that go wrong, but realistically, no big deal there. Calvin Kerrigan continues to lead Anton Klimov for third place in that category. None of the front runners in either class have come to the pit lane. I say McConnell has come in to the pit lane and no issues there. So P2 and GT3 has completed their stop, but literally nobody other than Mike Redford that was running in the top 5 from GT4 has come down. Andy Boardman continues to lead Huell Kerrigan, the top 3 GT4.
The interesting thing about Andy Boardman, and I think why we're looking at him, is he was not initially leading Raphael Huell last time we looked, certainly not by this margin. So he stepped away, waiting to go down pit lane for the Aston Martin. But this is sort of, it's yo-yoing back and forth. I'm like, all right, Huell's got the momentum here. Oh, no, Andy's got the momentum here. Here's Juraj Svenček and Aaron Jackson. A little bit of a touch on the apex of Dingledale Corner. We've seen a few of those. I think we're going to see a few more. It's there's one line through that corner. It's very quick. It's very committed. If you're side by side, I mean, why would you give in? I'm not giving up the position. I'll go door to door with you. I think it's the mantra of a lot of these drivers. I thought actually that Cal Barrington Jr. was gone from the session, but he's actually back underway. So whatever issue that was, Jesse,
I think you're right.
Sorted.
I think you're right. That had to be a peripheral issue, and we do know that he races in VR. And I think for this championship, he's been racing on a controller as well, so it could have been a hardware issue. I've talked to him in the past, and he has had hardware issues, but none that he's reported recently. Actually, most recently, Cal Barrington Jr. has reported that he's been having screen freezes, actually. So I don't know if that's what's been going on or whatever it was, but it certainly looked like, as you called it, Jack, at the time, a technical issue that has been rectified. No retirement for Barrington Jr. The SJNH Ferrari continuing, likely wanting to finish the last race here today. Tessa Thurlby in the pit lane, the most recent pitter, and maybe helped into the pit lane perhaps here. Let's see.
It's a little bit of maybe a bump incoming from Henry. Nope, maybe not.
Yeah, just a bump draft down clearways. No big deal.
We can do that here. It's fine, probably.
Yeah.
Jordan Daly is now, as the turn of fate, brand new race car for all intents and purposes, going to get back to the business of making up some ground, but there's a lot of ground to make up. Target number 1, Cal Barrington Jr., Mike Honcho versus Jordan Daly. Jesse, I hear that there's quite a few Night Owl championships between these two drivers, so I'll be interested to see here tonight who's going to be the better off in their mono bet.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. They both won. I think they've won 5 series championships between them, and both of them have won several mini championships that were on the Night Owl stage. Of course, both of these drivers have won Monday races and seasons as well. So you take all that in consideration, these are some of the most highly decorated drivers. They've had a rough day of it right now as Jordan Daly goes to the outside. Paddock Hill Bend, this is a sketchy proposition even in the best of time, but they're going to make it work. Barrington will hold as they go up the Druids, a switchback maneuver. Daly down to the inside, and he's overcooked it. Over-under maneuver from Barrington Jr. back down the inside, and he gets it done, slamming the door as they go into Graham Hill Bend.
That was some really good stuff. Two drivers that know what they're doing, and a lot of car positioning there. Well done by Cal Barrington Jr. He knew what he needed to do. Hey, let's drive it as if there's not a car within me. Let the mistakes be made by the driver on my outside. And great stuff between the two. Those are pretty much I would say Druids is basically the best and easiest overtaking opportunity of the lot. So it would be easy to say that it'll be another lap till we see another move like that happen again. But no, great stuff from the pair. And in the field, finally, I feel like it's really starting to open up. Everybody's starting to find their footing. I mean, good timing. We're halfway into the race, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen specifically in the GT4 field. I mean, championship's on the line at all, but it's been such a interesting race for them, especially for Boardman, for Huell, and for Redford. Here's Andy Boardman now. A little bit of a touch on the rear of Henry the Hoover. I think whether Martin Schaefer wanted to go down pit lane, I think he's going to go down pit lane at this point. Boardman was maybe being held up a little bit, but that was a overtake for position. That's something that can happen when you do an early pit stop. You can find yourself behind other cars of the same class that haven't pitted yet. So a bit sloppy from Boardman, but I think doing what he thinks needs to be done in order to keep this race in hand. Of course, Raphael Huell hasn't pitted yet. McKenna McConnell leading the field of those who have pitted in GT3 as Nico Kumpu from the lead of the race comes into the pits.
Yeah, I've been watching McKenna McConnell. I've been looking at the deltas to the other cars. Badowski is, of course, pitted as well. They're 15 seconds behind McConnell, and I don't know where that gap came from. It is coming down, admittedly, but I have no idea where McConnell got that gap from one of their nearest rivals, but it is 14.5 seconds. It was 15.5 when I first checked it, so it's at least going in the right direction for the Team Monkey Racing Team Audi of Badowski, as the leader Nico Kumpu has come in, and that has brought the majority of the rest of the GT3 field in. Joe Dauber also pits the 999 Ferrari in third that I can see. That leaves quite literally only Raphael Huell, the leader of GT4, and Giannis Lins as the only cars that haven't pitted, with Andre Baddock, who has still yet to pit. The Jamaican bobsled team out here leading in the Lexus. I don't know. I mean, I get the reference, but I don't know the joke of why that car is named after that. Something about believing in yourself, perhaps, but that Lexus has led some laps in this championship and leading laps here today in the finale.
Yeah, I can't say I know the reference either. I must admit, but I think something. Believe in yourself. I mean, it is when it's painted like that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe there's some storied history with Lexus and bobsled racing and something with Andres Baddock and Jamaica. There's lore here.
It's a Czech driver racing a Jamaican flagged car, but the car is Japanese. We are called RCI. The I stands for International, for those of you that didn't know. And Andre Baddock doing it all by himself, quite frankly, to illustrate that point. Jordan Daly's going to have another go here on Barrington around the outside of Paddock Hill again. Turn number 2, electric boogaloo, and a huge slide there from Daly as he's stuck on the outside of Druids and won't get the opportunity of a crossover themselves. Excellently judged by Cal Barrington Jr. as he keeps the position. You were talking, Jack, about how many championships and race wins these two drivers have between them, and it is a lot. It is a ton. It would take us the final 25 minutes of the race to just discuss how many they have between them. Win not on tonight for either of them, but it's bragging rights for the both of them in the finale here today. I was going to say before they started racing the first time, they took a break in Night Owl in the middle seasons of the Night Owl Championship on ACC, but they did come back to compete in the final races and championships as well. They've both done the same thing here for ACC Mondays as well. You love to see that dedication. Drivers that have been here for the predominant period coming back to send off the series in style. We love having them. Andre Baddock in the pit lane, completing the pit stop cycle for the GT3s. Raphael Huell is the last of the pitters. Still has a pit stop left to give, has 4 minutes to get that stop done. Reckon he's going to go to the maximum here, is the number 21 leading Porsche.
I think that's a smart decision. Go long. I mean, he was up at the front pack. He has a lot of room. He knows where he is on the circuit right now. There is no traffic to contend with. After all, that final stop will be possibly just a little bit shorter, and the car will be lighter and quicker and on a fresh set of tires compared to the Boardmans and the Redfords of the world, who have pitted just a bit earlier. But I anticipate maybe in this lap, maybe just later, and I think this was the plan all along, because of course you have to fuel your car for the distance you intend on driving before your pit stop. I think the whole time lining up on the grid, he thought, I'm going to go long. Tessa Thoroughble's going to go wide. It's just going to stay out of the way. Baddock finds himself, after stopping in the pit road, getting full service done. They've got Marco Badowski behind in the Audi R8 and Joe Dauber behind in the Ferrari 488. I have to say, I wasn't anticipating too much overtaking tonight. I have to say, I haven't seen many Brands Hatch races on RCI in my time, but I see why it's a bit of a classic, because it's just gorgeous. This is just fantastic.
Yeah, event manager Kevin Voss outdid himself. I saw this as the finale, and I believe I actually told him before that I thought this was brilliant to do Brands Hatch at the very end. Donington or Brands Hatch would have been an absolute classic. I think Brands Hatch is the better of the two, especially with the show that we've got today. Nico Kumpu leading after the pit cycle completed. McKenna McConnell P2. That gap's coming down. I don't know if Kumpu's just saving the car a little bit, the Rebound Racing Ferrari, or McKenna McConnell's found an extra gear, but she's been on it. And Andre Baddock now in third place over Badowski. I mentioned earlier that gap seemed odd, that 15-second gap back to Badowski and Baddock, who were all right behind McConnell earlier, you'll remember. I suspect something we didn't see has occurred, being held up a little bit perhaps for the third and fourth place cars. Of course, right now they're holding each other up, and they've got Joe Dauber beating down their door. Joe Dauber has an opportunity to finish on the podium here, starting from the back. That will suit him just fine, and it's something we've honestly come to expect. Just as I go to talk about how good McKenna McConnell was doing, actually lost half a second there in that last middle sector alone. Traffic giveth, traffic taketh away, perhaps, as these two, well, they just can't quit each other.
Absolutely, and why would they? They're just too darn good at giving us a show. Again, Daly having to try it around the outside, not being able to get it done on Cal Barrington Jr. It's just about, the playbook's pretty much empty at Druids. Daly's just throwing the kitchen sink at it, saying, well, I could do this and this and this, but it doesn't seem to be working. But I think it's maybe going to be a bit of an inevitability. It comes down to a numbers game where the driver that has more pace has got 20 minutes to get past the driver that maybe has a little bit less, and something may give, and I have a feeling it may be just a very tiny mistake from Cal that'll make it happen. But it's back to Will Stevenson in a slightly different order, still fighting for 7th, so got ahead of Yusuf Martin during the pit stop cycle, Jesse, but now Aaron Jackson jumped them both. I hate to say it, the Jag seems like it's got pretty decent pace here today.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. Some tracks do sort of favor the Jag a little bit. I think we've heard Will Stevenson in his post-race interviews talk about some tracks are better than others. Some are just absolute nightmares. And that's what you get with the outdated car. There's not a whole lot of BOP that can save you in some instances. And sometimes it is, of course, a little bit better than others. But Martin, who was in front of this group, you'll remember prior to the pit stop cycle, is actually behind them in 9th. That makes Jackson 7th and Will Stevenson 8th. They resumed the fight for that position. Andy Boardman has retaken the lead in GT4 post pit stop over Raphael Huell. 2.5 seconds the gap between the 69 and the 21. The Grease Weasel car afforded a little bit of space, perhaps for the first time in the race, with 19 minutes left to go, and that'll suit them just fine as Boardman continues to lap around and actually has started to lap some of the GT4s. I believe that was Tessa Thurlby in the Alpine he just passed on that lap. So that will leave that car in between him and Huell for the time being. 2 seconds the gap. We'll see if Raphael Huell has anything to respond with here in the dying embers.
The sort of unfortunate nature of how the points are coming out for Andy Boardman is it doesn't matter if he wins this race. What he needs isn't for himself to go quicker necessarily. He needs Mike Redford, Anton Klimov, and Callum Kerrigan to suddenly go 2 seconds a lap faster and overtake Raphael Huell for this to go any other direction. So he's just sort of, well, he's going to do his best, but math's kind of against him.
No, the math is against him, Jack, but here's what I would say. I don't think he needs those cars to go quicker. I think he needs Raphael Huell to make one mistake.
Also, yes. Cal Barrington Jr. in pit lane. The sparring partners have been separated. I'm wondering if perhaps it could be another technical issue, like one we saw earlier on where he was sort of poodling around the circuit, rather this time, though, going into pit lane. They are moving out of it. Actually, he has retired. You're absolutely right. Gave us a final show, did Mike Honcho, but that will be all she wrote here tonight.
Yeah, I think they were struggling with some kind of technical gremlin, and they decided to park the car out there. We have seen that happen. Several drivers have done that in this season, saying that, hey, I've got screen freezes or a technical issue, or my brake isn't always reliable, and in the interest of safety, I'm just going to park the car. And I suspect Barrington's been dealing with a technical issue of
it's always the equivalent of like a mechanical issue in real life motorsport. That's what I consider it. It's random. It doesn't matter who perhaps it's going to happen to, and where and why and how and what flavor of issue, whether it's going to be your internet dying, whether it's going to be your PC crashing, or whether it will be your sim racing hardware possibly failing. I will say, though, as a recommendation, if you're looking for new sim racing hardware, maybe check out our wonderful partner Moser Racing. High quality gear, doesn't break the bank. I've been running mine for however long I've had it, and it hasn't broken yet. Not very hard on it, so it seems to hold together. So it could be something with that. Beyond that, other things besides our partners have on offer: Coach Dave Delta, setups, apps, coaching, all things that can help you get quicker and climb the sim racing ladder. Faster lap times do begin with Delta. A little bit of bumping and going happening between the two. It's Kevin Boss and Hugo Gomez coming together just a little bit. I think Kevin trying to stay out of the way. That AMG a little bruised and battered, and an honest mistake, I would say. Whoa! And that is very going wrong for Yusuf Martin in the background.
Yusuf Martin just trying to hold on here. This thing's going to snap off of the racetrack. He grabs it, and then it bites back here in the dirt, and it swings around right on Bronco. And he's just lucky that that sand trap exists, and it's 2026. Because years ago, you would have been hard into the wall. We've seen over the years here at Brands, cars flip over the wall into the woods back there. So a very scary moment. ends up pretty all right. Just a couple lost seconds there on the Delta, realistically. But yeah, I mean, easy to do. I'm surprised, honestly, we haven't seen more snaps like that today.
It's a tricky one. I call it a Porsche moment. The engine's at
Oh,
the
sure.
back. It's just the nature of these cars are fantastically well balanced in terms of weight distribution. They're sort of designed for that, but physics still applies. And when the heaviest part of your race car is over your rear axle, if the rear starts to go, it's probably going to keep on going. That's allowed a bit of breathing room for Will Stevenson and Aaron Jackson. Not that they were necessarily under pressure, but now they don't have to think about, oh, what if we, slow each other down? Does that mean we're going to get overtaken? I mean, they have now about 9 seconds to the Porsche behind, so they can just go absolutely at it, which seems to be what they're doing. Before I resume, hopefully they resume their action, I will resume thanking our partners real quick, especially to Greenman Gaming, PC game marketplace, where if you want to save some money, there's no better way to look. I believe their summer sale is still currently running on all things that you can possibly play on your PC. They probably have a deal for you there. And one final special thank you to Motorsport UK for having us as a recommended esports community. And all of our partners' information will be in the link in the description. And while you're down there, like the stream, subscribe, tell us how pretty we are in the YouTube comments or in the live chat. What? What's wrong with that? We're really pretty.
Viewers, leave me out of what Jack's talking about. Don't do that.
I've seen him. He is though.
It's all good. My producer is in my ear right now, and I'm just gonna take my earpiece out and not listen to him here. Will Stevenson continuing their fight here with Aaron Jackson. This has been pretty much all race long between these two. The pit stop did nothing to separate them, and they continue on. Jackson, remember, got sort of bumped off the racetrack early and was pushed back in the field, but for the better part after the recovery, they've been in this fight for P7. And it is sort of fitting, Jack, when you think about it. I made the Jurassic Park joke earlier, a couple of old dinosaurs, two of the old cars. Of course, I think the GTR that Jackson's in is actually the updated one, because there are technically two in ACC, and an opportunistic look there from Stevenson as they get into GT4 traffic, but can't do anything with it. Callum Kerrigan ends up gaining the spot there on the AMG. I don't suspect they're on the same lap. I believe that was Damian Lowe, actually. They were passing to lap them, but nevertheless, sketchy moment there in Druids, avoided by everybody very well.
Absolutely. Hugo Gomez, after use of Martin's spin, has found himself up a position. Talking about somebody who's sort of been plugging away, not making as great of inroads as say Joe Dauber starting from the back, but of course Hugo Gomez started from the back behind all the GT4 cars, so to find themselves up into ninth with a little bit of room or a little bit of time to go forward is certainly nothing to scoff at. We're inside the top 10 in this field. I would listen, if I scored a top 10 here, I would be so very pleased. But oh, Aaron Jackson, he's gotten got by the Jag machine. And finally, Will Stevenson stuck back there, had a look. This is what we saw earlier on. The sniff. This wasn't when the move was done. It must have been done. Well, it certainly was done a little bit later in the lap by nature of where they are on the track now. But clean work. Will Stevenson, current, I'm going to say career best for the Jag, at least in 2026, up into 7th place.
Looking pretty good for the Jaguar here, maybe saving the absolute best for last here around Brands Hatch. We haven't talked about the weather today at all, folks, and that's simply because there's nothing to talk about. It is partly cloudy, 26 degrees C on the track, 21 degrees ambient. It's a perfect day here in Kent, to be quite frank with you. And beyond that, not a whole lot to speak about as far as weather was concerned. Andre Baddock had a scary moment there working the multi-class traffic, but no harm, no foul as they make their way around. Nico Kumpu has found the pace. That gap was down to 2.5 seconds. It's now back up to 5 seconds on McKenna McConnell, who's P2. Andre Baddock has done nothing to separate themselves from the Team Monkey Audi of Marco Badowski. Joe Dauber has closed the 1 second gap for that fight as well. We are experiencing a three-way battle for the third place position here in GT3. Meanwhile, in GT4, Andy Boardman continues to lead 1.7 of Rafael Huel. No movement there in that fight as Boardman continues to set the pace and Huel matches the pace, and Mike Redford hanging out in third. Led early, you'll remember, but a final podium. I think that is sort of fitting for Andy Boardman for Mike Redford and the Mike Racing team to add one more banner to the car in the final race. Talked a lot about this being the potential last ACC Monday championship, but we've also said not the end of Mondays here on RCI TV. Jack Mays has more with what you can expect on Mondays going forward.
Absolutely. Words from the man himself, Kevin Boss, the Monday man, our event manager who runs everything around here. There's been speculation on where we're going sim-wise on Mondays. I'm here to break the news, which I think everyone pretty much already expected. We are moving over to Le Mans Ultimate for Mondays, and for the beginning of that Monday campaign, something a little bit different, something a little bit unexpected, something I am extremely excited for. Starting July 27th, we will begin with GTE Masters. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said GTE, not GT3. The old girls from the 2023 WEC season, that will be the calendar that we follow. The idea from Kevin's perspective is majority of the cars in LMU do not have ABS, so do the GTE cars. It's about the softest and easiest to get along with of the no automated braking system cars. Get you ready to drive prototypes and big quickie boys in the future, and also no DLC required for that championship. So if you own a copy of the game, you can partake in the entirety of the championship. So that should be going live on SimGrid, I believe, right after this race is concluded. So GTE Masters, the beginning of the future of the Monday championship. I'm excited. I hope other folks are excited as well, because we will still be here with you throughout it. There's still 7 minutes to go till this chapter of the book closes, and still plenty of opportunities for our drivers to absolutely show their stuff all over the circuit. Nico Kumbu comfortably leading the GT3 class here in the final round. McKenna McConnell was there, reeling in, has dropped back just a little bit, the gap about 6 seconds, but they're in a mini John Dalton zone, shall we say, but still running exceptionally well. Really just a big remark to Snetterton earlier on. It is a similar thing, maybe not qualifying that well, but nailing the start perfectly, avoiding any metal, avoiding any incidents, and they are running up there. Boardman leads Huel, though Huel having plenty left in him and still holding on, one hand now firmly gripping the trophy, and as long as they finish where they are, they will have that championship. Jordan Daly pulling into pit lane, 5 minutes to go. A little bit strange, maybe underfueled the car ever so slightly, maybe just taking a little rest, taking a little nap behind the wheel. I can't say for sure. Aaron Jackson still trying to chase down Will Stevenson for 7th. Jag driver probably still wanting to hold on to that firmly. That is bragging rights after all. Joe Dauber last to 5th is what he's got in the final 5 minutes, though he's close enough to Marco Badowski that there may be a move coming. But for our championship-elect Jesse Lee, still very comfortable, very pleased with their results throughout this whole thing.
I mean, there's a part of me that wonders if they would have liked a podium, or maybe if it's still on here, they not going to give up pursuit is the Rebound Racing driver. But even still, 5th place from the back, got to be pretty happy with that. I'd be curious to see or to think where they might have felt they were going to go, because that's exactly what I was talking about. You just saw it right there. Maddock has fallen off of the road. Badowski takes over P3, and now Dauber has a shot at P4 position here. But yeah, I would be curious in a post-race interview if we can get one from Dauber to see where they thought they were going to be versus where they are, because right now the fight for P4 is still on here with 4 minutes to go.
Absolutely. I said maybe he'd be thinking about making a move, but I was more referring to the Audi that was ahead of him. But since Maddock made that crucial mistake, the podium's been given up to Marco Badowski. Joe Dauber now just a few car lengths behind the mighty Lexus RCF, which usually is the car you see and you're like, aha, that's the old car. No, before it beats it on age here. The Lexus being the oldest modern competition GT3 and also LM GT3 car, soon to be retired, but Andy Boardman leading, but not by as much. I think held up just a bit by GT3s, or perhaps blazing late race pace from Raphael Huell. Of course, he went long, fresh tires late, Jesse, so I think that might have a little bit to do with the story here, but maybe a little scrap between the top two in the points to end us off.
Yeah, lost a second, did Boardman. That could be traffic related as cars continue to go off in front of Andy Boardman to further rack the nerves of the greased weasel Aston Martin. But here comes Raphael Huell, not done. Last gasp here in the dying embers. Just enough time for a couple of more laps. 2 laps to go by my reckoning when we come down the pit straight this time. Can Raphael Huell put some more magic in the RCI Monday tank for the win here in GT4? Boardman's going to do everything they possibly can to keep that from happening. But does the Porsche have what it takes to fight Boardman for the win? Can Badowski and Dauber settle their differences? All those cars now separated by less than a second and a half as Badowski continues to try and disappear up the road, but they're all just holding station right now as they're going to come and get the last lap. Will Nico Kumpu this time through?
Only a couple more opportunities are going to remain for anybody to do anything here. I think, though, there's going to be 2 to go. Yeah, 1 minute and 30 seconds still on the clock. Of course, it's just under that for a lap time, so 2 more laps. Good news for those chasing. Not so good news for those leading, but Nico Kumpu has pretty much been in a league of their own tonight. They're top 3 sparring partners of the race, sort of ended up in the gravel at the start of the race, and maybe a bit lonely, but I think tonight certainly not a bad thing for Rebound Racing driver, the leading Rebound Racing driver of the night, because of course the Rebound Racing pensioners, as it is tonight, since they're going to be retired. Oh no, it's so sad. I don't want to think about it like that. But the old girl's packing it up.
Well, folks, if you've been with us on this journey for the past 6+ years here on ACC for RCI Mondays, on behalf of everyone here at RCI that works behind the screen and on the screen, I just want to thank you all for being with us. No matter if you were a chatter, a driver at any given point, thank you so much. If you've ever liked, subscribed, hit the bell, left a comment, we thank you so very much, and we invite you and we hope that you will join us on the next journey here on RCI Mondays. We would love to have you continue to be with us. Nico Kumpu takes the white flag on the last lap for the last race of Mini British GT in what could be the final lap of ACC Mondays. Marco Badowski is in pit lane, surrendering fourth place. That has got to be a fuel miscalculation.
I think absolutely. Sorry, I just felt like that needed a dramatic gasp and final bit of drama for the pile. But I think he was anticipating one less lap because it was so close for Kumpu to cross the line for the final when he didn't have the fuel that he needed. So he's dropped back now from third. He's now down into eighth, and I think that might be where he's going to stay. So that's promoted everybody up a position just about. So this isn't a fight for fourth or a fight for third between three people. It's a fight for third between two. Andy Boardman's just started their final lap, and there's a Maserati in between. I think that's Gianni Lenz, who's separated Huel as well. A couple more corners, Jesse Lee. Well, one more corner at this point for Nico Kumpu to come and take it in the final round, the final race. Nico Kumpu for Rebound Racing takes victory at Brands Hatch, and McKenna McConnell does it again. First Snetterton, second Brands Hatch. Something about these tight little circuits and that beautiful BMW means that it's going to be another podium position. Andrzej Badek is going to take third. Joe Dauber is going to grab and hold on to fourth. Here comes Juraj Svenček to take it into top five in the Boatly. A few more moments. I said seventh was good. What's better than seventh? Sixth position for the Jag. That's almost a top five. We can round that up. It's a Jag. We'll round up the numbers. We'll fudge it just a little bit. Yes, it is a top five. Andy Boardman will take victory here. Just a few more corners to go. A little bit more than about 30 seconds worth of driving before they can say, I won the final race of my GT4.
Andy Boardman coming to the line in GT4 to win the race. He did everything he possibly could. He's won the battle, and what a battle it was, keeping Raphael Huel at arm's length. Mike Redford comes home P3 in GT4. Klimov next. Kerrigan posts a top five. Boss, Schaefer, Thurlby, Lowe, and Lenz all across the line. I believe Peter Varga, there he is still out on the circuit. They will have the honor of being the last car home. And there they finish the race, the championship, and ACC Mondays here on RCI TV. Results confirmed. Kumpu, McConnell, Baddock the podium in GT3. Dauber, Svenček round out your top five. Stevenson, Jackson, Gomez, Martin, Badowski, Plata, Varga are your finishers. I believe Daly was in there as well. Actually stole the quickest lap over Ted Edwards, Barrington Jr., Verstappen actually, Floor and Rybecki, the 18 drivers that took part in GT3. GT4 had Andy Boardman winning over Raphael Huel and Mike Redford the podium. Klimov, Kerrigan your top five. Boss, Schaefer, Thurlby, Lowe, and Lenz, as I said, the 10 cars coming home in that category. Wow, what a race, what a finale, what a way to end it. Early argy-bargy, elbows out racing gave way to some brilliant battles and some pit strategy that changed it up, mixed it up a little bit as well. All things considered, a fantastic end to the season. Driver interviews coming up here at the end, and I do believe Jack Mays is down with Raphael Huel.
Raphael Huel, I finally can say it. You can finally say it yourself. It is a championship victory. Mini British GT 2026. The very end of an era for you, but the greatest victory of all. You get to hold up the big golden trophy in your mind, of course. We don't actually have a trophy for you. No, what a fantastic season. What a drive tonight. Andy giving you a final run for your money, but the points were yours. I mean, talk me through tonight.
Yeah, I was initially just going to see what happens. I knew that I have a slight point advantage going into this race, so I didn't want to risk it. Just drive safe, get through with all the traffic that is on Brands today. Yeah, it was spicy, but just keeping safe, losing some positions, but just staying consistent.
Consistency is the measure of motorsport greatness. Some do say, and not winning every race, but doing what it needed to be done on the points. But it's an excellent season, an excellent era of ACC. One final championship for you. I feel like I don't want to say it anymore about that that we've closed it out. I mean, how does it feel from you? I'm sure it's a little bit bittersweet, but the book is closing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was always great racing ACC with RCI. All amazing drivers here. All the memories from the endurance world tour, from the big endurance race, the 24s. They were always fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing them in LMU as well. Once they add that feature. But yeah, it was always a blast driving an ACC here.
And we've been happy to have you, of course. And I'm with you. I'm very much looking forward to what LMU has to offer, especially once those endurances come good. So thank you so much for joining us. We look so very much forward to seeing you on more Mondays on LMU. Anybody you would like to shout out before you go?
Yeah, as always, just you guys in the comms box doing an amazing job, especially on the cameras. Always fun to see that. Yeah, and obviously the drivers staying with us, staying with ACC for this long, knowing how big LMU is great to see. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Raphael. Congratulations on P2 today. Congratulations on your championship as well. And from speaking to one champion to another, Jesse Lee is with Man of the Hour, Joe Dauber.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Jack. Down with Joe Dauber. Posted a 4th place finish today. Didn't need anything. Ended up with a top 5 and some memorable racing coming through the field. Joe, is that how you drew it up?
Yeah, that was it may sound ridiculous. I had a couple of wins, but that was the most fun race I had this season. It was yeah, hard work though. My wrists are absolutely killing after that. Should have turned the force feed back down, I think.
Well, it was entertaining to watch you come through the field. I felt like that was the idea. I was wondering how happy you were. You got inside the top 5, and in the end, you were fighting for a podium there at the end. Could you have drawn it up that good to have a fight, a memorable fight right there to the end? I mean, you came through the field one last time. You already knew you were a champion, but just can you describe the vibes inside the car?
No, it was really really enjoyable. Yeah, I kind of guessed at Brands Hatch there would be I don't know, top 8 at best in that one, but it looked like there was a bit of carnage at T1 and a few people carrying damage. So yeah, I was able to pick off a few people. I wasn't going to do anything silly with Marco. I'd already killed him in one race this year, so I thought it was probably best just to sit in place. If I knew he was going to pit, though, I would have sent it earlier.
Well, it was an emotional day for all of us in the box. And I'm just curious what your thoughts and feelings are. You're the champion of the final ACC Monday championship at RCI. Has it sunk in? I know you've had a week to think about it. Does it feel real? You are the final champion of ACC Mondays.
I think I agreed with Callum. It would be the forever champion. But I suppose Rafa is as well. So yeah, no, it's a nice feeling, I would say. You know, I'm not here for the championships. I'm here for the racing. I really enjoy it. So it's a nice little bonus at the end. Yeah, and nice symmetry to my ACC championship experience. My first championship was RCI back split 4 Friday championship with a few names that you'd know. Daly, Kompu, Gill, I think Phil Roberts was even in that championship in the same car. So I'm glad to finish it in that car as well.
Joe Dauber's talking about championships back when RCI TV was in black and white only, no Technicolor back then, ladies and gentlemen. Joe, anybody you want to shout out, say thank you to, share your feelings with out there on the final day of ACC?
No, yeah, thanks to you guys. The commentary is always great, and shouldn't underestimate the work done by the broadcaster as well. I think it looks great. Vulcan Racing, and of course the Rebound Racing guys. Yeah, and it's especially Nico. Congrats on the race win today, and it was good to chat to him through the race as well.
Joe Dauber, your champion of Mini British GT 2026 in RCI ACC. Looks like Jack Mays has caught up with Jordan Daly.
Mr. Daly, it started really well today. Put it up at the front row. Ended up a little bit outside of track limits with a little bit of assistance, but it looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. A lot of good battles, a lot of good moments. Maybe a slight bit of frustration. I mean, as a cap to your story within ACC and within your story on RCI Mondays, was it good enough? Was that one to write home?
Obviously, no one wants to be sent off the track into T1 at the start of the race. But for the rest of it, you know, I was just putting laps in. I was enjoying it. I did have to deal with like 30 odd seconds of damage for what were it, 20 minutes. And to be fair, the pace weren't too bad, but it did start to drop off when the grip were going. But yeah, I didn't mind it. It was all right.
It were all right is the word for the man himself. But no, it's you know, I've known you longer than I've known RCI. I've seen you race time and time again, and I'm not gonna ask because I already know the answer. You're gonna keep driving with us. You're gonna keep enjoying LMU. But do you have a favorite moment in ACC of all time? Do you have one thing that maybe keeps you up at night or helps you wake up with a smile on your face?
Night owl.
Just the whole thing?
2 time.
Two time. Ladies and gentlemen.
I honestly, the whole thing, like, I started here, like, what, 5-6 years ago. I decided, yeah, I'll go and buy a wheel. I'll go and do all this, and I was watching YouTubes, and I think it were an RCI race at Bathurst, and I was like, all right, what's going on there? And it was Jesse Lee doing comms back then, and obviously they mentioned about the website, stuff like that, so I jumped straight onto it. Started out as an amateur, all the way back there, and I've fought the guys on the field today. Most of them I've fought with throughout this time, and yeah, it's been mint. You can't beat it. It's, you know, you've got good friends from it and stuff like that over these past few years, and I mean, it doesn't end. It's just the sim that ends for now. We've still got more to come, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, we're not stopping. None of us are retiring. None of us are going anywhere. But I know it is a close of this chapter, but plenty more still to write in the book of RCI. But no, Daly, before you go, any final thoughts, any final wisdoms, any shout outs you want to make?
You guys, as always. My good friend Bibby behind the broadcast right there, and yeah, just everybody races, because obviously if there were no one racing, we wouldn't be doing it, and there'd be no reason for it to be streamed, no reason for any of us to bother turning up. But yeah, we all do, because we all love this. We all love what we do. We all love racing. So yeah, just everybody involved.
Wonderful, kind words from Jordan Daly. On to our final race winner in GT4. Jesse Lee, you're down with Andy Boardman.
Andy Boardman does what he does, and that's win races. Today, though, might have been a little extra special for Andy Boardman, winning the final race of Mini British GT and potentially the final weekly race in RCI ACC history. Boardman, what are you feeling right now? We'll get into what happened in the race, but first I want to know what you're feeling.
Yeah, first, congrats to Raphael for winning the champ. Yeah, it's been a pleasure racing against him in this champ and over the years. Yeah, I'm feeling good, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, obviously qualifying wasn't great, so yeah, I was driving quite angry, to be honest, at the beginning of that race. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I was because I even overshot racing to the grid box. I was well at the back by the time of the start of the race, and then yeah, so I knew I had good pace around that track. Donington's a track I love, and it suited the Aston Martin perfectly, being a twisty track. So I knew I could do well there, and yeah, I just went for it. The start of that race, I really went for it. But yeah, there's been a few races this champ that I've sort of sabotaged myself. Spain being one of them. Getting the drive through, that was costly. So yeah, I think a couple of issues, and with some of the races, I think I could have been higher up a little bit, but yeah, second's good. I'm happy with second. That's not too bad at all.
Well, winning the finale, I think, is just the icing on the cake, so to speak. Andy, I've got to ask, you've been all over Assetto Corsa Competizione with us, different days, different championships. Is there a standout race, championship, or moment that stands out in your mind?
I think the most successful ones have been the Ginetta Cups for me. I think I've won that twice, I think. So yeah, I've had my best results have been in the Ginetta, I think. I think for some reason I'm relatively quicker in the GT4s than I am the GT3s. I'm not sure why that is, but it certainly seems that way. So, but yeah, I mean, it's always fun to race. It's a great community. Everyone gives it their all. Yeah, it's always fun to race. Not sure what I'm going to do Monday evenings now. Yeah, I'll have to try and think of something else to do, I guess.
Well, Boardman, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you. It just seems fitting that one of the likes of you or your nearest competitors today were to win at Brands Hatch. Boardman, anybody you want to shout out, say hello to, thanks to out there?
Yeah, you guys, obviously putting the races on all the time, and everyone that turns up for the races. I mean, if no one turns up, it's not much of a race. So the more people in, the better. And this championship's been really good. I think there's been, the amount of people we've had. It's been brilliant. It's been a great turnout. So yeah, big shout out to all the drivers and you guys as well for putting it on.
Andy Boardman's always been a winner in RCI. I feel like he arrived in ACC winning, and he does it to the very last. Andy Boardman wins the finale of Mini British GT. Congratulations, mate, and thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Well, very quickly, we're going to go down to Jack Mays, who's caught up with Will Stevenson, and I believe Will Stevenson might be trying to steal his microphone.
Could do. As is appropriate, driving the vehicle you drove. Let's be honest, the best car on the grid, the Jag. Will, thank you for piloting that magnificent machine all season. Congrats on the best result of the season in the final round. I do believe that sixth place has not come your way at any other point. So a great drive out there. How did it feel bringing around the old girl, through most of the circuits that ACC has to offer one final time?
I mean, it was good fun today. I don't think I've ever sweat so much in a race in my life. it basically felt like the surface of the sun, which was actually quite difficult. It's one of the most physical races I've actually had to do on ACC, so I'm very happy with the 6th place. But just taking it around the whole tracks have been really fun. Obviously, it was never going to be up there and winning races, but always, I hope for everyone else as well, I had a bit of fun with it, and yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think fun was the goal for so many, and you stand out as the we're out here for a good time, not a long time of the group. You, of course, maybe not a champion this time, but multi-race winner. Otherwise fast human being and good guy. I mean, I know you mess with LMU on occasion. Are you planning on coming back around and joining us for GTE Masters in a few weeks?
Is it on a Monday?
It is on a Monday.
Then yes, I will be. As long as it's on a Monday, I'll be doing it. Those are my normal days off. I'd love to make some of the other championships, but just work schedule doesn't tend to fall that way. But you should hopefully see me there.
Well, something to look forward to with that in mind. But no, thank you for being here on this of the final ACC championship on a Monday. And before you go, any shout out, any wisdoms, any Jag based japes?
Um, Other than a big thank you to you guys, not just I always say a big thanks to the commentary team, but just as RCI as a whole. I've been racing here for 6 years since I was quite young, so I've basically grown up racing on ACC and within RCI. And everyone here is just really lovely. It's always been so much fun to race here, and yeah, so a big thank you to just everyone who puts these on. Hopefully, it runs for many more series, even if it's not on ACC.
Well, thank you to you as well, of course, for joining us. Congrats on a top 6 finish in the Jag for one last time, and congrats on completing another championship.
Thank you very much, guys.
Our final overall race winner in GT3 is with us. Jesse Lee is down with Nico Kumpu.
I sure am. Nico, first of all, congratulations on winning the finale, coming runner up in the championship, but winning the battle out there today. Thank you for your patience as well for the interview. But Kumpo, just talk us through your day. Looked like you had them at arm's length every step of the way.
Yeah, thanks. I think this race turned out to be easier than I expected. The gaps were close in quali, but then I think I got a bit lucky in the first corner that I wasn't in the accidents, and then I was just hoping that I don't get into trouble with traffic. That was the only dangerous moment, I think.
Is it special to you? Does it mean anything extra, Nico, that you've won not only the finale of a series, but the finale, the end of an era here on Mondays at all? Or is it just another race for you with your illustrious history of winning races? Is it special? Is it more special?
Mm, I don't think it's more special than other races. I mean, it's just been fun racing here, and of course it doesn't stop here. This is one win. I'm very happy with the win because my season was a bit on off, hot and cold, making mistakes, getting killed. But then I had good races there also, so I'm very happy with ending like this.
Well, I think it's fitting. You've won so much throughout your ACC career with us. It just sort of it seemed right, and you didn't ever have a humongous gap to the field. And I'm actually quite curious, Nico, was that by design or was that the pace and the lap traffic?
I was pushing it almost the whole race, so that was the real gap. And
Well, you certainly kept them just far enough away, and eventually there at the end turned it on and really piled on the gap and walked away from them. Nico, for the final time, anybody you would like to shout out or thank?
Well, I've got to congratulate Joe for the winning the whole championship, of course, and also Rafael Huel for winning. And then everybody, you guys, broadcast team, the whole RCI, the whole community, and of course my fan club, who may be watching or not, I don't know. Of course, I want to thank also my girlfriend for supporting me in these races.
No, that's a smart man. Nico Kumpu wins the race here at Brands Hatch and the series finale. Nico, thanks for coming and talking to us.
Thanks.
Well, looks like we have another special lady down in the pit lane with Jack Mays.
I'm down with McKenna McConnell. This time, not a special pre-race feature. We got you at the appropriate time of day. It was, podium McKenna McConnell interview. Well, you done it twice, so naturally you have to come back and join us again. And I mean, that was a heck of a drive, a heck of a start from qualifying, not nearly up that high, but make it go. I mean, talk me through the making it through the opening melee and diving, ducking, and weaving around race cars and finding yourself running at the top too.
Yeah, I was just able to take advantage of that T1 accident. I got very lucky and everything that was going on, and we were able to, take advantage of Badowski's unfortunate mistake as well. Worked for us in the end. It got very, very risky at the end. We had a little bit of a slow puncture on the rear right. So a little bit of squeaky boots, but we were able to pull it off in the end and keep it. So yeah, very fortunate to be back in the box again.
Slow puncture, that would explain the drop in pace race suddenly. I thought maybe you guys just sort of ran out of steam a little bit. Of course, the possibly the fastest couple in RCI, you and your husband Grim. I mean, he's obviously been your coach throughout the championship. So how does it feel for the both of you to end it on such a high?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. As I said last time, I absolutely couldn't have done it without him. I know I keep saying we, but literally, couldn't have done it without him and his help. Absolutely instrumental. So just very grateful.
Thank you so much. The two of you, a very important group, of course, in this championship. Of course, you are often race director in ACC. Many times leading our team of stewards on many such events. So I mean, we haven't necessarily worked out how and if the stewarding may continue in the future, but I mean, just to close the book on ACC as a race director, as a steward, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's really bittersweet. I really did enjoy my time stewarding here and racing when I could. So yeah, it was really special. I did a fun fact of the week, as Jesse has mentioned a couple other times. And fun fact, I didn't anticipate to be this sad at the end of the championship. But anyway, here we are. Grateful for a podium and grateful to be back one last time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know, I will completely with you. I obviously haven't been in this world for nearly as long as so many of you, but I feel it. I feel a little sad. I feel a little bit of sadness in me, and it's just it shows how important and how amazing this community is. But before you go, McKenna, congrats again on second. But before all of that, any shout outs, any wisdoms, do you have another final fun fact perhaps?
I just want to say thank you, obviously, to everybody. I know a bit of a broken record here, but genuinely, we really couldn't have done it without you guys. To everybody on the stewarding team that isn't here, the comms team, literally couldn't have done a single one of these races without you guys. So very grateful. A fun fact. I don't have one. I probably do. But a fun fact, I don't know. I'm grateful to be here.
That's allowed. I'll allow it. That is a very fun fact. Thank you, McKenna, for joining us. Congrats on a couple podiums to your name in the final championship, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
The last time we're doing the Varga report on a Monday on ACC, Jesse Lee's getting down, getting debriefed. He has the Varga report.
I sure do. But before we do the Varg report, I've got a fun fact just to cover McKenna there for a second. That's a RCI first. What just happened there? Nico thanked his girlfriend. McKenna thanked her husband. That's the first time that's ever happened. That is a back-to-back. The smart people, Nico and McKenna. I am down with Peter Varga for the Varga report. Well, Peter, you've had some, I would say, some pretty chill races as of late. Today was anything but. It seemed like you were in the middle of everything today. Talk us through your race at Brands Hatch.
Uh, I think it was pretty chill. It was fun at the start when I had the guys in front of me for entertainment when they were fighting. After the fight with Gomez, who was very nice to show me the British countryside on the final corner. Yeah, at that point was just, driving by myself and doing a little bit of reminiscing during the race, looking at the past. You know, I've been doing this for the past 6 years, ever since I joined the GT Hub Race Watch server. I know the guys were so good to say like, hey, we are starting the ACC league. Then I was like, yeah, put the game now. Like, oh, okay, you are joining. And I've been reminiscing about the little bit more than half a decade that has happened ever since.
Well, on that note, Peter, since you've been thinking about it, have you come up with your favorite or most memorable ACC moment?
I actually thought about it a little bit listening to other people, and I thought about all of the good stuff, getting almost winning my second endurance race with on ACC with a friend of ours, getting the GT2 championship in ARM class. That was a big one, and I was just thinking maybe some of the wins. Also, I probably remember all of the bad things. That's not something people talk about, but I remember all of them. The times where I just needed to bring the car home and failed by braking late and spinning out, losing the podium. The times that I just crashed into someone, destroying both our races, or just being, unfortunate. And I think the most memorable moment, I just figured it out, was when I nearly got, I wouldn't say banned, maybe just removed out of here on a certain race. When me and my friends just decided to fool around at the back of the grid. And I remember being dragged to principal's office afterwards and, getting the stern warning of, you don't do this. So I think that is gonna be the most memorable moment for me. Back then it may have felt, pretty tense. I would not be happy to have to leave. But now I just look at it with a bit of comedy of, the stupid stuff that we did.
Well, I love that, and sometimes it is the bittersweet moments that are the ones that you sort of hang on to and cherish the most. The moments where you show the most resilience and you're up against the most adversity. Varga, of course, this doesn't have to be the end of the Varga report, of course, but I mean, for one final time, uh, anybody you would like to shout out or thank here?
That's also a good question. Who would I shout out to the end? I thought maybe myself for pulling through all of this. But I think shout out to the Kunos because the adventure that I'm on thanks to this game. Because, as I said, it started all back in 2020, starting the racing with those guys. I've gone through actually my stint in a commentary booth a few years ago. And then the story continues with meeting someone in the commentary booth, getting to talk to them, starting our own team. And meeting more people going first time to the Spa 24 hour with complete randoms that I just met here. And look and behold, 6 years later, I decided to leave my country, move to Belgium with the help of one of those people that I met at this game. So now I'm here, literally closing one of the chapters of my life and opening another one. So I think big shout out and thanks to Kunas for creating this game, which opened the opportunity for me, which I am living right now.
That might be the coolest story I've heard today. Peter, thanks for coming and talking to us, not only today, but most days. For those of you that may be just tuning in and you're not aware, the Varga Report has been a thing for years that kind of started as sort of a way to show people that you don't have to win the race to come and talk to us. We love hearing the perspective of everybody in the race. I called it the Varga Report. Peter kept showing up and we kept doing it. And I didn't know that story. And that's really cool indeed. Peter, thanks for coming and talking to us as always.
Yeah, thanks you.
From Peter Varga down to the second most American driver in the field today, Jack Mays has him.
Mr. Ted Edwards, you V8 maniac, addicted, mostly American guy, you. Not an easy one out there tonight. Honestly, not an easy season for you. Of course, taking the reins back of ACC after a while. After a while, dusting off the old a set of course of boots. You know, how did it feel as a whole?
It was all right. Seeing as the Mustang had all its bop, which is deserved. I mean, no, it was fun. That last race, I span out in the second to last corner exit on the curve. Was my fault, and trying to fight my way through the GT4s, and then I had another incident. It just turned into a hot lap session, which actually was very fun but very annoying because I had the pace to be up at least in the top 5 today. But it was actually really fun in the Mustang to have one last send off.
One last send off, indeed. Of course, I mean you're not going anywhere as a racing driver. You're still going to be with us as a broadcaster. You're still going to be with us. So we're not getting rid of you. And could we even if we tried? Let's be honest here. But no, Ted, it's been great. The V8 lives on through you. I think you might, as I've gotten to know you, you might depose me as slightly more American than I am. Though I am from Florida, so I don't know. We'll have to find out. But you've broadcasted so many races on ACC. Of course, you and Jesse Lee and Night Owl for so long. Do you have a very famous favorite moment as either as a driver or maybe as a broadcaster that comes to mind?
No, as broadcast, like as either as a commentator or as the one behind the cameras, but because they've all been great. When we did Night Owl, me and Jesse having our Saturday night fun, and it was great seeing all. It was meant to be for the Americans, but it was mainly Europeans, which was quite funny, and there were some really quick guys in it. And it was a shame that it came to an end. It was our longest running series with the same name. It just changed number. It was great, and it was a shame that that I closed it down due to not many people turning up on a Saturday night. I've been here since RCI started. I've been here before it started, and knew some of the others before that. And it's been a great ride. It's not saying that RCI is going anywhere. It's just that we all started on ACC. I started with Grim and Daly, and yeah, it was. We started off in Night Owl in the AM, and then we got moved up, and then we ended up in Pro, and we just got faster and faster. But on the track, the most memorable thing was taking out Ryan Gill in the last corner at Donington Park. I think everyone still remembers it. I missed my braking point because I was focusing not to hit a GT4, and I took out the Gill in a Lamborghini, and it was not my proudest moment. Everyone thought I did it on purpose because Gill sent me into the Melbourne hairpin before that. And I was told if I was not a staff member that I could have been removed at that point from the community because of how silly of an incident it was. But everyone in staff and all the drivers know of the TED sends, and I tried to be nice tonight. I did a few on some others, and had a little bit of fun with the guys in the GT4s. But Tedson's not going to disappear. We do some LMU stuff. I might have to bring out the Cadillac or the Mustang and do some more scary moments.
We Ted send it into the sunset until we're old and frail and can't no mo. But Ted, thanks for joining us. The final ACC Monday that we have on offer, and congrats on the completion of the season. There were definitely some great results in there for you, and plenty more moments yet to come. But before you go, anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out all the staff that have stayed with us here at RCI. It's been tricky working through that period where everyone was working from home. So we had loads of people, like especially with the stewarding team, and obviously everyone's gone back to work and got on with life. So it sort of thinned out. I want to say thank you to all the drivers that are either new or existing from the good old days and stayed with us through the whole of the ups and downs of a set of course of competiciones. We wouldn't be doing this without the drivers at least, and especially with the viewers at home that tune in every stream to see the carnage that unfolds and root for the people they want to win. So yeah, RCI wouldn't be here without the staff, the drivers, or the viewers. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's involved.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Ted, thank you for joining us tonight, and well, you'll be shouting in my ear again soon enough. Jesse Lee, the crown of Mr. Monday. It was you that I think it was passed to me, but the true Mr. Monday, at least in recent times, has been the man you're down with now. You are speaking with Kevin and Boss.
Sure am. I've got the event manager himself. Hello, my friend. How are you? And how was your race? We'll start off with that.
Oh, well, the race was not the way I'd like to have ended this whole ACC journey on Mondays. Got into a few scraps, some I couldn't avoid, some, yeah, I just got hit and I was like, "Ah, come on, this is not how I want this to end." But yeah, it happens. You have these races. But yeah, at least I finished, so I guess that's good.
Well, you've been the manager of Mondays for a long time. You've come up with some incredible championships, but honest to God, boss, I think you saved the best for last. We had some 28 cars for the finale, and it was multi-class on top of that. The course selection I thought was excellent. You picked a fantastic track to end at. We had a great race. I mean, just sort of I'm just sort of eulogizing on ACC Mondays in the job that you've done, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on not only this championship but all of the championships that you've done for Monday.
Well, I also stepped into some good shoes that Tim Ireland left me because he gave me the blueprint towards funny, weird things that people flock towards, and that really helped me. Sometimes I tried some things that weren't as successful, and then I tried other things that used to be successful, and then yeah, there was barely anyone, and then I do a throwaway champ, and everyone comes back, and it is very difficult to really think like, oh yeah, this will work, that will work, this will be fun. Um, but yeah, I think in general it's been good, especially this last one with how many drivers we've had at least try to participate. I think we were over 100 drivers that have had a role into this championship. So yeah, that's just massive.
Yeah, it has been a massive success. I think you deserve to take a bow for this final championship. It's been wonderful. I mean, Jack, me, and Ash the entire way. I've just been marveling at the drivers and the names that have come back and the new names that got to take part as well. And we had this sort of lovely balance and symmetry of new people coming in and getting wins and good finishes, and the old drivers that are still there. And like today, where right at the end, I felt like it was definitely bookended by some of the veteran names as well, that have come back and have been a of the whole thing. Of course, as we've said, not the end of Monday racing. here on RCI TV. Just the end of ACC as far as we know it. Kevin, would you like to talk about? We talked about it briefly in the race, but would you like to talk about what's coming up next? What's on deck for Mondays here on RCI going forward?
So Mondays is definitely staying. I've just put it live. The next championship starting in in 3 weeks' time will be on Le Mans Ultimate, the GTE Masters. I've put that down as a way for all our ACC drivers to have a cushioned landing, get their feet wet into the game in cars that are just about what they know from the GT3s in ACC, but more power, more aero, just no ABS. And I've done that on purpose in the GTEs because that's really a skill you want to learn before we start moving over to the faster cars. We'll be following the 2023 WEC Championship. Also means there's no DLC required to join for our first Monday champ. So yeah, I think for everyone that has maybe a thought of getting the game, especially those, because I heard, I think it was Boardman say that he doesn't know yet what he's going to do. Well, have a look if LMU is your thing and join us in 3 weeks' time.
Mondays here on RCI, not going anywhere. We look forward to those new championships. Joe Dauber was in our chat earlier saying, there is a 488 Evo GTE in LMU. That's his next choice. I love seeing drivers sort of migrate to other sims. We've seen a lot of that over the past couple of years. Boss, you'll know that. And just seeing Joe Dauber, a man who's just, won a great victory, already thinking ahead. He always said it's not about the championships or anything. It's about the having good racing. And we implore everyone, there's a lot of great racing to be had in LMU, class leading net code. No worries about getting rubber banded off of the racetrack. Uh, Rules that just generally make sense, and a damage model that is punishing if you get it wrong. We've had some great racing in LMU over the last year or so. So we invite you to join us on LMU Mondays. Kevin Boss, we've asked nearly everybody to sort of eulogize what their favorite moment has been. You've been around for a lot of great ACC moments. Do you have one that sticks out in your mind?
For me, it's definitely winning my first championship. I got close to a lot where maybe if I could do the races, if work didn't impede me, then I might have had a few more. But my Friday GT3 Season 2 championship is the one that sticks out. It's just finally having the time, getting it all together. Yeah, that was the cherry on top. But it, really, like all of it, like you said, I've been racing here for quite a while. Especially Monday, like I've raced it, I've broadcasted it, I've commentated on it, I've stewarded it, and now I'm managing it. It's all built on everyone that works on this, the staff behind the stewarding team, the entire broadcasting team, and also the guys that paved the way for me to be able to keep making these Mondays great. And then especially Tim Ireland is the one that I know, but even before Tim, there were others that paved the way for us to make this such a staple where we can do wacky, funny stuff. And yeah, I just hope to keep that going, because if we can do that, that's really what's that the Monday spirit can continue. That's really what I'd like to see.
There you have it, Kevin Boss. Anybody you would like to thank? I'm sure you have a list of.
Well, like I said, it's everyone that participated, everyone that worked behind the scenes. Because I've said it before after other champs, without everyone here, we can't do these. If the broadcast team is not here, we don't have these great streams that all the drivers can watch back. If we don't have the stewarding team, then yeah, it just becomes a mess. So yeah, we can only thank them, and yeah, then the drivers as well for showing up, for enjoying the weird stuff that I put in front of them, and making it a blast. That's who I all want to thank.
Kevin Boss not only walks the walk, or not only talks the talk, he walks the walk. Almost said that backwards, but he races, he manages, he is in the know. Boss, thank you so much for all of your time and effort. And on behalf of everyone here at RCI, thanks for putting on these excellent shows, giving Jack, me, and Ash Bibby, and everyone else who calls Monday races something to talk about. And it's sometimes it's chaotic, other times it's just damn good racing. It was fantastic out there today. A fitting send off. Thank you for all your hard work, your dedication as well, bringing and keeping ACC alive this long. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Well, that's just going to do it for interviews today. Only one thing left to do, partner. Before we wrap this up with a pretty bow, let's go to the final championship standings.
Absolutely. GT3 Joe Dauber takes it in absolute glorious fashion. The man is already set forward to go win it again in a 488, this time in LMU. Nico Kumpu, his Rebound Racing teammate, does it in second position. Andrzej Badek in the Lexus finishes third at the final podium for the final champ. Martin Lorink, storied name, didn't race the entire season, but he made an absolute impression, as he always does. Marco Badowski taking a car that, let's be honest, is not the greatest driving and easiest to handle, the Audi R8, and drives it in style. The fastest wife in RCI, McKenna Mikado, takes sixth position. Tom Shipston, another Lexus driver, another name we see storied history. Uri Svenchek in the Boatley, the Bentley, for the final time, goes in eighth. Aaron Jackson, Kaiju Racing, driving Godzilla. Absolutely fantastic races from them. Takes in ninth. And Jordan Daly shows up to what, 3-4 races? Ends up finishing inside the top 10. The old guy still got it.
He sure does. GT4 championship results. Raphael Huell on top, 209 points over Andy Boardman, your last race winner. Mike Redford finishes third in the final championship. And that is an incredible trio in the annals of RCI history. Huell, Boardman, and Redford. Behind them, Miso Stubna slid to fourth place. Anton Klimov rounds out your top five in, of all things, the Maserati. Callum Kerrigan finishes sixth. Sebastian Picciano in seventh place. Tom Winch in eighth. Kevin Boss in ninth. And Nikolai Polyakov is your 10th place finisher in the championship. Jack, I've asked and you've asked nearly everybody what your favorite moment of ACC on RCI has been. And, well, it's my pleasure, my honor, and my duty to ask you, what is your favorite moment?
Jesse Lee, I'm about to make you so angry. My favorite moment, it was my first lead broadcast. It turns out I was the only one who was going to be in the box that night, and you messaged me. You were like, if you want to take it, you can take it. I trust you to do it, and ended up talking about mayonnaise for about 5 minutes during that race. And
Of course you did.
it was it's when I realized that I was like, oh, all right, this is awesome. I really like this community. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna keep spending time with a lot of people who have now become my very good friends. And a lot's happened in a year. So many great battles, so many great moments. But I don't know, that one cemented to me what a special place RCI is, because there's no other place I could go and talk on the internet openly about mayonnaise and just not be seen as all that weird and anything outside of the programming. Obviously, I'm going to flip the script on you, the man who's got a few more years experience, my senior, the man, the reason that I'm in this booth now. Jesse Lee, your favorite moment or moments, if it's too hard to narrow it down to just one, what sticks out most in your mind?
So, yeah, I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks, knowing that this moment was going to come. And I can pick any number of racing moments that we've had in the championships, and watching Harry Conway win 3 Night Owl championships, not thinking anyone could ever do that. Night Owl was so all over the place that nobody really seemed to be able to win two. It just seemed like the championship where you won once and that was it. And then he managed to win 3 of them. Daly ended up winning 2. that was very special to me. A lot of the races we've done on Monday, the very first M2 championship was absolute bedlam. Some 40 plus cars, uh, BMW M2s. We did that on a Monday. That was absolutely insane. And it was fun. It was hard to keep up with. But you know what my favorite moments have been? My favorite moments are the moments where we've been less professional in the box. And I know that's sort of enigmatic, but it's true. Times where whatever broadcaster we have, usually Ash Bibby, breaks us by making a joke that only we can hear, or sets us up for a one liner, or whispers something in our ear to break our concentration. Little funny things like that, fun things that we do. Moments where Jack and I, or whomever I've been with, have lost it laughing. We break character for a moment because something we see is making us lose our minds, whether that be a humongous incident, something hilarious, like cars glitching through barriers at Monza. That happened once. It broke me and Mike Jones way back in the day. My ribs hurt. I remember that. My ribs still hurt from that moment. And even more simpler times where Jack and me, you and I, just sort of trying to one up each other, to the times, of course, where good old John Dalton and me had these shill wars where we kept trying to make the smoothest promotion we possibly could. On track, off track. My favorite moments have always been around the people, not the machines. Cars are great, racing is amazing. It's truly the one sport that unites everybody, unites the world. But my favorite part has been the people. Today, yesterday, and the 100,000 days before then. If it wasn't for people like Jack Mays and Ash Bibby and Kevin Boss and John Dalton, and the list goes on, it wouldn't be special. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't want to do this. It wouldn't be fun. So, my favorite moment is sharing all of these memories with every single one of you for the past 6+ years. But don't worry, Mondays aren't going anywhere. As you heard Kevin Boss say, we're going to continue this train and roll into LMU. It's going to be different, yes, but it is going to be just as fun and just as hectic and funny. And we'll have a broadcaster that will try to break us live on stream. And Jack and I, and whoever is in the box, will break character, because that's what makes it fun. I've always told all of my broadcasters and all of my commentators the same thing: just be you and have fun. And that's what we're going to continue to do. So sorry, buddy. I gave you the milk toast answer on that one. It isn't a racing moment, it's a people moment.
It always is. That's what's so special about so many organizations and leagues and everything. Sim racing in general, such a special
Hello,
thing.
everybody. I'm George
It's
Jungle
been
Fuck here with Timothy
absolutely
Touch My Peter.
everything, and for the last 2 years, it's basically just pulled me. It's not letting me go, and I won't let go of it either. But no, just to echo your point, Jesse, it is all about the people, and also echo the point of we are not going anywhere. RCI is not going anywhere. It will be the same old group of slightly intelligent, some more intelligent than other group of people doing what we love week after week, night after night. Mondays will be continuing. ACC is not gone. We have at least one more, the Nordschleife farewell party in a few weeks' time. Jesse Lee, thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us and everybody who makes everything happen everywhere. Ash Bibby as well. You didn't get the full shout out party like you've got in the past few weeks, but I will say specifically to you, thank you. I will tell all of you viewers, because you rarely hear his voice. These streams would be so much less fun without his constant chatter in the background, and he will hold him to this. He said he will say some words after the Nords race concludes. So we will all wait with bated breath for that. And no better man to end this off, to sign us off from ACC Mondays than you, Jesse Lee. It's been special. It's been real. It's been wonderful. I cannot wait to see where we go next. But over to you.
One final thing before we take it home here on ACC Mondays. Just remember, one more ACC race planned July 25th, the 3 hours of Nürburgring. Pick any car, any class you want, and join us. There are still spots available. 3 hours, the Nürburgring, Assetto Corsa Competizione. Join us on July 25th. Follow our link to SimGrid and join us there. Next broadcast here on RCI TV, LMP2 Thursdays. We will see you then, Jack and myself. We hope to see you there, and we hope to see you on July 25th for 3 hours of Nürburgring in ACC. And of course, just announced the new LMU Monday Championship. Check that out on SimGrid as well. We've been doing this for a long time. Over 6 years of Monday racing. Started off with Porsche Cup. It ends with Mini British GT. One final time. Thank you all very much for watching, for taking part, for supporting, for helping. On behalf of everyone here at RCI, thank you so very much for your continued support. We'll see you on the other side for LMU. And until then, have a good night.
Hey, Will.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Get behind the wheel, let's go. Grip the road, feel the flow. Thunder roaring, steel alive. Live this dream and drive. Tires burning with gasoline. Push the limits, chasing green. One shot, don't slow. Go on, we'll take control. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. We're chasing taillights. The miles they fade, but they don't die. Faster now, the hours fly by. Sweat and gears, hearts in sync. On the edge, on the brink. Clock ticks down, stakes are high. One mistake, we kiss us goodbye. Don't slow down, we're not done. Finish line for the strong ones. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights.